This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Lafayette, Colorado. I'm here at Transworld Business Advisors. Since 1979, this award-winning world leader has been bringing business buyers and sellers together. I'm joined with Chris Cantwell. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
You bet, Gary. Thank you.
Let's start off a little bit about yourself. You're a senior business broker, father, co-founder, Colorado native, formerly educated at Metropolitan State University of Denver. You really have 20 plus years that you bring to the table for your clients. You've been a board member as well as a past president of the Colorado Association of Business Intermediaries. You enjoy Colorado, outdoors, spend it with your family, as well as helping those in the buying and selling of businesses from Colorado to Las Vegas and beyond. Share with me a little bit how this passion got started for you in this particular industry.
Yeah, happy to. So I really always had a passion for entrepreneurship and small business, and I spent a lot of my earlier career in the restaurant industry, but as a franchise director, really helping and supporting small business franchise owners and helping them open new restaurants, manage new restaurants, grow. We did some mergers and acquisitions between the franchisor and the franchisees, and it's just been a ton of fun. So moving over to this world, where I help people buy and sell businesses, it's been fantastic and I love it. And this is what I love to do.
Great fit for you, obviously pretty natural. After 2020, we've continued to see many changes in business. But is it still safe to say that what is unchanged is small business is still the backbone to our nation? And why do you think that remains unchanged?
Yeah, small businesses are definitely the backbone of America, and that's really what it comes down to. The majority of businesses in America today do less than $1 million of revenue and probably have less than 20 employees. So while there's that understanding or thought out there that big corporations really run the country, they really don't. It's really the small business. We love to call them Main Street or mom and pop. They can be retail businesses or industrial businesses, businesses you see in different warehouse parks. That's truly the economic engine of America today.
I believe that as well. I imagine the public out there, they're pretty familiar with a brokerage when it comes to buying and selling a residential home. Yet many maybe have never even heard of a business brokerage. Can you explain kind of the differences and maybe what's the same as well?
Yeah, we definitely have that confusion out there as far as what we do. And there's a lot of business owners out there that don't understand that if they don't have a buyer for their business when they're ready to retire, move over to another business, whatever their scenario may be, if they don't have a buyer that they know, and again, maybe that buyer is a family member, maybe it's a competitor, maybe it's the employees, when they don't have one of those three opportunities to sell their business, they can take it to market. There are a lot of people today that are looking for great opportunities. In fact, our number one seller client today is a baby boomer, probably in their mid to late 60s. They're ready to retire. Most of the business owners that we're seeing today are probably mid 40s on average. They've been in the corporate world maybe 20 years now. They've got some money saved up. They've got some stability in terms of a family and what they're doing. And they're ready to go be entrepreneurs. They want to stop working for somebody else, and they've got some great experience now. It's time to go be an entrepreneur and run your own business.
Kind of exciting chapter for them. Those folks out there who want to sell their home. It's probably not in their best interest to go put it for sale by owner out there on the lawn and actually go it alone. But in selling a small business, there's not even a lawn to put that sign on. It's quite different. Why is it important for them to have a professional in their corner as they go through that process?
The most important aspect of selling a business for everyone is confidentiality. And that's also the hardest part about selling businesses, because I've got to sell you a business that I can't tell you anything about until we have a non-disclosure agreement in place. So if you own a business and you're thinking about selling, you don't want to tell your employees. If you give your employees any reason to have some anxiety about, oh my gosh, somebody new is going to come in. Do I get to keep my job? Are my benefits and salary the same? What's going to happen? They get really worried about that, and they stay up late at night and they talk to their family, and next thing you know, they've got a new job. So you don't want that to happen. You don't want your customers or competitors to know that your business is for sale. So it's really important to keep it confidential. And that's the thing that business brokers do. We have a process for that confidentiality. So we've got a way to get marketing out there to let somebody know that a business, in a specific industry is going to be available. And if they feel like that could be a fit, they'll sign their non-disclosure agreement with us and learn a bit more about the business. And we take them through that process. So it's important to keep it confidential, and it's the hardest part of selling a business.
That is interesting. I mean, we've just experienced what they're calling the great walkout. And as the mindset of the worker changes, are there more people looking to buy right now? Maybe more than ever before.
Yeah, definitely. There have always been more good buyers in the market today than good businesses to sell. So we are seeing some really nice businesses come to market. And again, it's that baby boomer generation that are looking to retire and do other things. And it just makes it a perfect time for people to come in and buy those businesses that are turnkey, that are established, that maybe haven't even been doing any marketing. Some of them don't have websites. The people that are buying these businesses today see so much opportunity to just take something over and build on it rather than starting from scratch, doing their own thing and opening the business doors on the first day and nobody walks in.
That is nice. I've always said, why reinvent the wheel, right? Especially when it comes to business. I mean, obviously, you've worked hard building a business. You're ready to exit. You're maybe ready for the next chapter. You're ready to sell. It's an exciting time, but yet at the same time, it's overwhelming, a little bit scary. The locating and vetting potential buyers has to be time consuming. Is this a process where you're really able to come in and help?
Yeah, we always say in this industry, time kills deals. And it really does. I've heard many stories of business owners that go out and try to sell on their own. Again, maybe to an employee, maybe to a competitor. Somebody else just comes along. They try to do a deal and they say the same thing every time. We got 6 months down the road and we couldn't get the deal done. So the other thing we do as business brokers is really drive the process. So once we engage with someone, if they make an offer, the seller accepts the offer, we move into a due diligence period. And it's very much, we're the quarterback. We're driving that process. We're working with the banks. We're working with the attorneys. We're working with CPAs, whoever may be involved in that transaction. Again, going back to that football analogy, we got to quarterback it to get to the finish line and to score that touchdown.
You're definitely in the middle right there, making sure they know whose ball the court is in, like you say, and moving forward with it.
Yep.
I mean, let's face it, as a seller, we want to get the best price for our company that we've worked hard for. But honestly, many of them have to ask themselves, what is that price? I mean, understanding what the business is worth, is that a number that a professional like you can help them determine?
What we bring is the market perspective. So while a CPA can tell somebody what their business is worth, there's a number of different ways to value a business. But where our expertise comes in is in the market. What is the market going to bring? If we're going to take your business to market, what kind of a price are you going to get? And I love to talk with business owners maybe 2 or 3 years before they're thinking about selling to say, hey, here's where you are today. If you want to sell in a year or 2 years or 3 years and you want to get to this point, let's focus on these items to get you there. So I can definitely help in terms of just giving them an idea of what that value is of their company, how to get the most for it in the market. And it might be different than what their CPA is telling them the business may be worth.
That's interesting. Obviously, a simple sale like that of an automobile, you don't need a broker. Selling your home, you definitely do. But is selling a business, I mean, it's rather complex. We're talking quite different than residential or real estate, as well as, like you say, confidentiality. Is that complex process something that you're able to break down for them and kind of a turnkey for them as well?
Yeah, it's a challenging process. And again, you have a lot of chiefs that are involved in this transaction, right? So you're going to have a buyer, you're going to have a seller, you're going to have both their family members, you're going to have an attorney on each side, you're going to have a CPA on each side. There's going to be a landlord most likely, or we're engaged in a real estate transaction at the same time. If it's a franchise concept, there's a franchisor that we've got to get approval from. So there's a lot of people that are involved in this transaction. And again, you're trying to keep it confidential. Again, you're trying to keep the buyer and seller motivated and moving to the end goal target. And it's tough. We use a term called deal fatigue, and it sets in almost every transaction where a buyer and seller just get frustrating with the minutia of that process that we're prepared for, and we do this all day, every day. So we get the deals done, but it is definitely a process.
You need a coach in the middle, though,
Yeah.
keeping you on target, making sure you remember why you started the process.
Exactly.
I mean, for myself as a business owner, I mean, not only are we not educated in the process of selling, but honestly, frankly, I still have a business to run during that process.
You bet.
I mean, I don't have the time to maybe do all those things. Providing that peace of mind through communication as well as transparency is that critical to the whole process.
Well, that's a great point about running the business, because what we're seeing in the market today is an average time of, on the short time, maybe 6 months, on the long time, maybe a year. So what I tell all of my seller clients is prepare to run this business for the next year. Let me go worry about selling it. You focus on the things you need to do every day to continue the momentum that your business has, to maybe grow it. Anything that you're doing to build on the business today is going to help you when we find that right buyer and work through that deal to get you the most for your business when the sale does happen.
You're able to assist those who are selling, obviously, but that's only half of the transaction. What about those folks who are looking to buy? Can you help them not only find a business, but maybe find a business that best fits them?
Yeah, we do this all day, every day as well. It was curious to me when I first started doing this, I met with buyers all the time and they said, or I would say to them, what kind of business are you looking to buy? And they would say, well, I don't know. And I always thought that was interesting because they really don't. They come to the market with some industry experience, but they're not committed to sticking to that industry. They know what they need in terms of cash flow and how they can support themselves and their families. But most of the time, we'll find buyers who really don't have any industry experience in the business they're buying, but they just get so attracted to that business that the deal comes together, they're motivated to do the deal, and we get the deal done.
I mean, in the residential real estate market, they're tapping in. You got the MLS that is out there.
Yep.
Yet what you're doing is you're tapping into your own vast internal marketplace. This is a worldwide network. I mean, do you think that is really what sets you apart and remains the leader in this particular field?
Yeah, there is a business marketplace out there. That's a website, bizbuysell.com. But again, everything's listed generically. There's no information about the business. There's no pictures. There's industry. There's sale price. There's cash flow, revenue, basic components about the business, but you don't know what it is. So we do get a lot of buyer activity from those websites that come in. But about 60% of the deals that we sold last year came from within our own networks, our own resources, other brokers that we work with to co-broker on deals. So there's that behind the scenes element that comes into play because we're talking with buyers every single day and we know what buyers are specifically looking for. And many times I might meet with a seller and say, hey, I already think I have a buyer for this business. I was just talking to a guy last week and he was looking for something exactly like this. And, maybe it's an easy deal. They're never easy deals, but maybe it's easy to find that buyer and then work through the deal.
That is interesting. I mean, obviously there's buying and selling taking place here. There's two sides, but really, I mean, you're creating entrepreneurs. I mean, you've got 8 detailed steps that you walk these business buyers through on the process. Do you enjoy educating the buyers and really kind of empowering them to take that critical life step?
It's emotional on both sides. It's always emotional for the seller. The seller's got a business that they've maybe had for 20, 25, 30 years. It's their employees are family members to them. The business is like a family member to them. And while they want it to go on, they want their employees to have continued employment after they retire. There's that emotional component about selling their business. And then you work on the buyer side and it's a little less emotional. They're trying to say, well, your business isn't worth this, or there's something wrong with your business, or I don't understand why you did it this way. And they're picking apart because they're just trying to understand it. So again, where that deal fatigue comes in, sometimes it's just in the language between the buyer and seller. And the other challenge of selling a business is, for example, when you mentioned selling a home, sometimes the home buyer and the home seller never meet. There's a title company, they go in, they do the transactions, moving truck leaves, new moving truck comes in. In a business sale, the buyer and seller almost 90% of the time have to work together for some period of time, post the closing. There's got to be a transition, training, consulting period that happens. So it's really important for the broker to be the middleman in all that negotiation so that feelings don't get hurt. And when we close on that transaction, they're going to hold hands and they're going to transition that business.
Especially when you're selling my baby. I mean, that's my company. You're selling I kind of want to know who I'm selling to, who's getting it. That's interesting. With expertise in mergers and acquisitions as well as franchises, I mean, you're probably going to find a fit for both sides of the transaction. Are franchises a big part of what you do? And are the components a little bit different compared to that of mom and pop shop?
Franchises are great. Transworld is a franchise. We're franchisees. I'm a partner in our franchise group. We've got the market in Colorado. We've got offices in Dallas, Fort Worth, and offices in Las Vegas, as you mentioned. So we are a franchise group, a franchisee. We work for a bigger franchisor, which we love. There are some great franchise companies out there. There's a lot out there that are kind of skittish and young, and there's not much validity behind them. So you always want to be cautious about that. But at the end of the day, there are some fantastic franchise brands, and we work more on the resale of those brands rather than selling somebody a new franchise component. There's some people that specialize in just selling you a new franchise. But again, in our world, we'd rather give you the business that's already running, turnkey. You're going to buy it tonight, open the doors tomorrow, and people are going to walk in.
Interesting. As we said before, Colorado is your home base. Have you expanded your business beyond Colorado? And tell me why you felt that was important.
Yeah, so I've got some family that's in the Las Vegas market, and I was doing some traveling, going back and forth. And we already had Colorado established. We had just bought into the Dallas-Fort Worth market, and I was going back and forth to Las Vegas, and I said, man, this would be a perfect opportunity. There's still a territory available. I partnered with our local partners and said, let's go in, let's purchase that territory. If I'm going to keep going there, I might as well keep working there. So it's been great so far. We're just kind of getting it under our belts, but I'm looking forward to growing the Las Vegas market as well.
Very cool to look forward to. I mean, when I researched the company, we're talking about truly an onslaught of awards this company has received. They've been a worldwide leader, 40 plus years serving companies out there, 10,000 plus businesses sold, 600 plus brokers, 250 plus offices worldwide. Is it rewarding to be part of a win-win industry for both the buyer and the seller?
Without a doubt. I love this brand. I get this question all the time from buyers, from sellers. Hey, you see all these great businesses out there. Which ones do you want to buy? How come you haven't bought one yet? I said, I did. I bought into a Transworld franchise.
That's a great answer for that. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. Obviously, on the website, you can learn more about this company that really has been serving for longer than 4 decades, be it a business-to-business or business-consumer, you name it. Check out the awards. You've got a complete page of them there as well. If you're thinking about buying a business, maybe thinking about selling your business, or maybe you're not even sure, get some sound advice. The advice is free. You can contact one of the members here. You really owe it to yourself to have a professional in your corner. This is a pretty complex sale, and many times you can do things 2 years before you even decide to sell. They can walk you through that and give you some peace of mind. Once again, that is Transworld Business Advisors since 1979. This award-winning world leader has been bringing business buyers and sellers together. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.